Hello everyone. Dev Builder is a website builder for developers. It allows developers to use their knowledge of HTML and CSS to create websites visually and fast. Now, to use Dev Builder, first we have to create an account. After creating an account, a verification mail will be sent to your email, and after clicking the link there, your account will be activated. Then you can log in. After logging into the site, we can see this is our dashboard. We can edit our profile and delete it if you want to, and we can create a new site by clicking on create site button. And when we click on the new site, it will take us to the editor page. Now the editor page has two main sections, the panel section and the display section. In the display section, we have a go to home link, an undo button to undo our actions, and a redo button to redo our actions, and a save button to save the page. Here we have a top level div element inside which the elements could be dropped. We also have a context menu that appears when we right click on an element. We can copy the element, we can paste the copied element into another element, we can duplicate an element, and we can also delete an element. In the panel section, the first panel we have is elements panel. Here are a list of HTML elements that we can drag and drop in the display section. We can copy either a single element or a section of element, and we can paste it. We can also duplicate it, and we can also delete. Now if you want to undo our action, we can click undo and redo. Now the next panel is layouts panel. It is in beta right now. Layouts are a collection of elements that can be dragged and dropped. Here we can see a collection of elements gets dropped. Right now it is in beta. In the future, the style associated with the elements will also get pasted. And now the next section is pages section. We can create HTML pages here by typing the name and hitting enter. We can switch pages by clicking on the page name, but before switching pages or before reloading the website, we have to save page to keep our progress. Now when we click on about HTML, we can see a new canvas appears in the display section, and we can drag and drop into it, and we can save page. Now if we check the index.html, we see our previous page, and about we see the new page. We can also delete pages by clicking on the close icon. The next panel is the properties panel. Here we have a list of properties that are associated with an HTML element. When we click on a button, we see the properties related to the button. When we click on an input field, we see the properties related to it. Now to update any information in properties panel, we have to type the value and then press enter for it to appear in the display section. If we want to change the text in the search button, we will type the value and then we'll press enter, and we can see the text appears here. In the same way, we can change the value of ID and classes. Now the next panel is navigator panel. Here we can see the whole page tree. Currently there are only two types of interaction that could be done to navigator panel. The first one is to hover over the element and the corresponding element will be hovered. The second is to click on an element and the element will appear in properties panel. When we click on ally, you can see the ally element appears here. In the future, the drag and drop functionality and the context menu functionality will also be added to the navigator panel. Now the next section is style section. Here the style section consists of a list of styles, and each style consists of style blocks. Now a style blocks has a selector value and a list of property and value pair. Whenever we create a new page, main.css default style gets attached to it, but we can create our own style here. Let's create a test style. When we click on it, we can see a blank canvas. We can add a new style, give it a selector name. Now there are some validation that needs to be fulfilled. Our selector value cannot be empty. If it is empty, we cannot add new style. And after adding the value of selector, when we press enter, we can then only get a pair of property name and property value. Let's add a background to the button. We can see when we press enter, the first enter applies the property change to the display section, and the second enter allows to create a new pair of property name and property value. Now the property name also consists of a list of validation. If we leave it empty and add any value and press enter, a new property will not be created. We have to add a valid CSS property name which is not repeated. So if we add background again, we see the red outline is still there. So when we add a new property and enter, we can see the value, we can see the change appears in the display section. So one more validation in creating styles is that when we add a new style, the style name should not, the style selector should not be repeated. So if we type button and enter, we can see the outline is still there in the selector, and we cannot create a new style. So this selector should also be unique. We can delete a property, and we can also delete a style. We can copy a list of style, and we can paste it here, and we can see the style change appear in the display section. If we want to undo our action, then we can click on undo button, and if we want to redo, we can click on redo button. We can also delete the style by clicking on close icon, and we can see the style gets removed. Now in the last panel we have settings. Now in the settings panel we can remove the border that is added by Dev Builder to see how the actual page will look like. We can also add the title of the page. We can save the page. Now we can either export a single page or we can export the whole site. Now when we click on export page, the page gets exported, and we can see it here. We can see the HTML file along with the CSS files get exported, and when we click on the HTML file, we can see the page here. Now we can also export the whole site containing the list of all the pages and styles, and we can also delete the site by clicking on delete. Now these were all the actions related to the editor. We can also create the website and style it however we want. Here's an example of a site that I've created in Dev Builder. If you remove the borders, this is how the site looks. You can design the site however you want and then export the code. Now if we click on logout, we'll get logged out. If you forget your password, you can click on forget password. You can provide your email. A password reset link will be sent to your email, and when you click it, you can provide a new password for your account. So this was the demonstration for Dev Builder. Thank you.